What's going on, everybody? Good morning. We got the Buckeye Brunch Edition back in here. It's been a little bit since we had this show, so super excited. What's going on? Glad to join us. Got my guy Ron in here. Ron, how you doing?
Pretty good. Running a little late this morning, but we made it.
Yeah, my fault. My fault on that one. I was like, I'm ready to go. I'm about to hop in. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go clean up for a second. My dog is fine though. It happens all the time. Just gotta give him some Alka-Seltzer. He'll be good to go. Not too bad. But yeah, man. So we got a good show for y'all today. Today is Tuesday. Should we not forget? Tomorrow there'll be 2 additional shows. One, Ron will be on Bleach Report at 1 p.m. As that holding it down. They like him over there, so they're bringing him back. So we got to, again, up our budget to keep him over here and happy and all that. So make sure you like the video. Help us out there. Also, too, the Fans Edge will be tomorrow. National show, like national college football. There's a lot of storylines. And I also asked the chat, give me your national first weekend 1 storylines. I'll read them off and we'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, so that coming up, Mike and the gang, the Fans Edge over there. So make sure you check them out at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. I think I got this time. I feel like the Disney Channel.
I feel like the show's turning into TV Guide. All we do is read off promos for the next show.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I always check like social media, and half the people didn't know what they were talking about when they said 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Like, what time is it? It's so funny. So yeah, that's what we got coming up. But you didn't come for that. You came for the Buckeye Roast at 8 a.m. We're here today, and this is what we're going to talk about. I know we didn't write this in, but I just want to recap the blasphemy from last night and what happened with the games. I know Ron watched that, so I want to talk about that for a quick second. But we got winners and losers today. We're going to talk winners and losers from Ohio State over the weekend. And then we're going to talk some reaction because there was a lot of reaction, not only ours, but around the Twitterverse. So we're going to talk some of that and maybe jump into some other things as we see fit. But that's what we got going on today. And let me give my shout out. Isaiah was in here first. Good morning, Isaiah. Remember, you come in here first, you will get a shout out. He was here at 7:40. So you had Charles Green said, I thought I was early. So you got to wake up at 7. You got to get in here at 7:30 and say it was good to beat him. But yeah, Ryan, you got anything before we jump into it?
No, Bleacher Report tomorrow, and we're here for the show today. So let's keep it pushing.
All right, all good. So I want to start with, because it's always relevant to Ohio State, I want to start with last night's game with Clemson v. Duke. Now, I got to ask you, Ron, what on a scale of, let's put it 1 to 5, what's your hate level for Clemson?
For Clemson?
Yeah.
A 2. My hate level for Dabo? On a scale 1 to 5? Like a 12? Like, I hate Dabo personally. Like, it's just like, I don't know, man. The holier than thou, the we don't cheat when we absolutely cheat. Like, that is just like, I don't know. It just irks me. It grinds my gears, as our guy Cam would say. I really love to see Clemson lose. It's always fun. And it just seems like Ohio State put a dagger through the heart of that program, and they've never been the same since Justin Field dotted up Chris Olave, and history ever since.
Yeah, man. Because I think this is too, because Michigan was so down. Because Michigan has been so bad until I guess 2021. Like, my hate for Clemson was probably at like a 4 by the time it hit 2020 and we were playing them in the college football playoff. Because I was like, bro, I like the one game. I think we will do a show eventually on like worst losses that we've had or that we witnessed as fans. Like that 2019 game, to this day, I have not been able to rewatch. Like to this day, if I see it on TV or anything like that, I'll watch the first half because it was going well. And then once Sean Wade gets kicked out of the game, I
I
just
was gonna
know
I was gonna ask you which play frustrates you more on rewatch of that game. I know you haven't watched it, but if you rewatched it, like what point is gonna make you want to walk away more? The fumble, non-fumble, or the hit?
it's definitely the fumble, non-fumble. I just can't find a way to get that far. Like just to go like bro, I was at my boy's house and like they're not college football fans at all. They're not, fanatics or anything. But I'm like, but he was going to Australia. So I'm over there. I'm like, look, I came here for you, but you need to turn the game on for me. So he's got the game on in the living room. His family's around who probably doesn't know the difference between Ohio State and Clemson. Probably has no clue. And I'm over there like freaking out. Like I'm like, oh, we're about to blow them out. We just need to take advantage of stuff. As soon as Sean Wade gets kicked out the game, I'm like, what is going on? Like, how did he get kicked out? And then it just rolled from there. And you see the slow demise of me just like, no, we're gonna find a way to lose this. As much as I hated Clemson walking into that game as well, because who's that? Man, who's that one Clemson fan who always is like, oh, Clemson is your daddy, blah blah blah. He's on YouTube. I don't remember his name, but he's super annoying.
I'm not sure who.
Yeah, I watched this video. It just got me riled up. Like before, I'm like, bro, I can't wait to beat them. I'll be on his YouTube page, like, yeah, motherfucker, like this, and that, bruh. Oh my goodness, you talk about the demise of my whole New Year. It just went right out the window.
Yeah,
Right
bro,
there.
we got to start winning these New Year's games because like our start of the year is always like
It's always-
the stages of grief as an Ohio State fan.
Bro, I told you last year trying to deliver a New Year's kiss, my heart was just broken. I ain't got a pigskin Pete. That's him. Hate that dude, man. I hate that dude.
Pigskin Pete, bro.
Oh my, it was a whole experience. But let me skip over my sorrows. You watched the game last night. You had more time than I did because I didn't get the chance to. So let me know what happened.
Duke happened. I said on the college football pregame show that Clemson was on upset alert. We watched Duke fuck up Miami last year. They were an 8-5 team. They had a first-year head coach. Everybody was making excuses last year for first-year head coaches, like what's his fit? The other Clemson guy, Brett Venables, over at Oklahoma, and they wanted to make excuses for Mario. I'm like, Duke's coach has a bunch of engineers out here going 8-5 in the ACC. So I mean, I expected big things from them, but I also heard from Clemson fan that Cade Klubnik, I was guaranteed that Cade Klubnik would put up more than 23 points.
That he did.
He did not. So I mean, overall, a lot of fumbles, random goofy stuff. Because like there was a couple times where Clemson got into red zone and it was like, oh, they're about to score. And then they would just drop the ball, like not drop a pass, drop the ball while they were running it. The fumbling handoffs, fumbling in the goal line, like just goofy shit. It was a crazy game to watch. So overall, yeah, it was a fun game. Duke played hard, and I don't think Clemson is the power that people believe. It's hard that. I think it's time for people to accept that Clemson is not the same team that they used to be. And I'm laughing because Travis called out Q, said Q never watches football. Man, they don't call him City Boy Quentin for nothing. He stays in these streets. He don't got time. He doesn't got time to watch football.
That name is actually pretty accurate because I'm about to move to a major city. So that is why I haven't had time travel. I'm in the middle of moving literally across the country, East Coast to West Coast. So hopefully in a couple weeks things will settle down. I can watch a lot more football. But you're right. And also shout out to Charles Green. He's an engineer. So you talk about this guy, he's making bread over here. Shout out to Charles Green. Hey, I need to watch more football at Charles Green's house. Charles, drop me that, man. Try to catch a game. I know you got a 95-inch TV in there. But yeah, so, no, I figured. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, let me not interrupt you.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, it was overall great week of college football. I swear, I feel like I enjoyed every game I watched, but the Ohio State game. So overall, glad to have college football back, and we have a cupcake this week, so I think I'm really going to get to enjoy college football.
Yeah, as the same, but I was thinking like after the Clemson game, it's like, well, we were bad, but we didn't do that. So sun's still shining, the birds still chirping. We still got opportunity to do everything that we are supposed to do. So I wanted to ask your thoughts on that. Let me see what the chat's talking about. I'll hop into winners and losers in a second game, but I want to see. I did move some college football takes. Savion says Clemson owes DJ a big apology. Damn, those boys suck. Trav said Garrett Riley is not Lincoln. Charles Green said FSU is for real. Davo is already crying. Let me see if I got any more in here. If I do, I'll grab them by the end. But yeah, let's keep it rolling. So, and also, keep putting your takes. I'll keep saving them, and we'll roll from there. All right. So, Ron, you did it on Bleacher Report. You did some winners and losers after the game. I'm sure your mind has changed a little bit by then because they made you do an instant reaction. And probably all you're thinking about is I'm about to kill Ryan Day for ruining my Saturday. So let's go to winners and losers from Ohio State over the weekend. So, Chad, I want you to give me 3. Give me 2 winners from Saturday and give me 2 losers from Saturday. And this can be a coach, player, position group, fans, whoever you have that you would have as a loser. So it doesn't have to be specific to players. But yeah, so Ron, you want to take it off with winners and losers?
Yeah, sure. I will start. So yeah, like you said, on my Instagram.
You want to go one by one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start with winners. Like you said, we did winners and losers on Bleacher Report for the instant reaction, and mine have changed. I wouldn't say significantly, but they've absolutely changed. Someone that I did have on the winners last time that is no longer on the winners after rewatch the game was Cade Stover. He led the team in receiving. It seemed like a good game on first watch. Seemed like he had a lot to clean up in the blocking game. So despite having a great game receiving, I felt like overall it was an average game because it wasn't a full game from him as far as performance-wise, left some things to be desired in a blocking game. But overall, not a bad game. I definitely wouldn't move him to losers, but I feel like the winners kind of became more evident on rewatch. So that's why my first winner is going to be Denzel Burke. The seatbelt crew out there, they had the straps on everyone. So yeah, a big shout out to Denzel Burke. I know he saw all of the criticism last year of his play when people felt that he could play better. And I think he absolutely stepped up and proved the naysayers wrong that, he fully committed himself and looked like he was ready to go for a big season. So big shouts out to Denzel Burke. He is my number 1 winner from Saturday.
So Denzel Burke is yours. It seems like the corners had a big day because my first winner is Igbinosun. I thought he was as advertised. I mean, I said it before the game. I was like, if he has a good game, you will not notice him at all. And we did notice him because he came up and made a couple tackles, but he was physical. He blanketed his receiver, really only gave up, 1 pass interference and 1 catch. So not bad at all. He was that pass interference. You want to talk about physical. He looked like he was trying to arrest Buddy over there on the sideline. So, yeah, definitely as advertised, looked good. I mean, and just I'm excited for these corners, man. Even Jordan Hancock got in there, looked pretty good so far. I got the bet he's going to be a pro at the end of the season. So I need to see more, Jordan. Don't cost me money.
Yeah, bro. That's you should have took the eyebrow bet. It's looking like I might be a 1 eyebrow man.
Oh man, look! I want to eat on Ron's dime, not him eat on mine. So he's stepping it up. I might just throw him as a winner in here for just no reason, just to build the hype. But no, I thought Igbinosun played really well. The defense overall, for the most part, outside of the linebacker play that left more to be desired, was fantastic. So Igbinosun is my first winner.
Do we want to alternate winners and losers, or do we want to stay positive and then go losers?
Let's stay positive because I think losers will transition us well into our segment after this.
All right, so we see this name a ton in the chat right now for winners and losers. Our guy Chip, super explosive when he got in the game. I think it was 7.6 yards per carry every time he touched the rock. Didn't get taken down by the first tackler too often, made a lot of guys miss. So overall, I think Chip had a great game, especially for someone who, you know what I mean, has bounced around, played a lot of different positions. He's our starting fullback and also possibly our best running back. So big shout out to him. And yeah, Chip is my second winner of the game.
That's a solid choice. My second winner is actually Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles had a lot of criticism coming into the end. Also, too, he needs to fix. I'm not letting him off the hook with the linebackers, so you need that straight. But Jim Knowles, I'll give you your bones in the first week. The defense looked good, only 3 points. I think 160 yards total. We went through this last season, but I think Jim Knowles needed a win early in the season to kind of get the fan base back on board. It was Indiana. It's not impressed. Yeah, we need to do it in the big games. We got Notre Dame coming up, and then we'll see Penn State, who Drew Allen looked fantastic. And we got Michigan coming up later in the season. But so good so far. The defense looks fast. They look physical. They look like they're ready to play well. I think if Tommy and Steele step up their game, or we get to see more CJ Hicks or something, this defense has the potential to be spectacular. And Sonny Styles, he put his nuts on the table. He said Sonny Styles was, and I didn't put him as a winner here, but we might see.
Well, I'll just jump right in here because that is my next winner on the list. Yeah, I mean Sonny Styles. I said it on probably 9 different shows already. It looked like he was playing at a different speed. I mean, when he was out there, he was running past guys like the film was on half speed and he was on full speed. It was insane how fast he was moving out there. There was multiple times during the film rewatch that we saw Sonny Styles run past someone already ahead of him with a better angle and make the tackle before them. Like, to the point that he was pushing people out of the way. Like, I'll do it. So Sonny Styles is my third winner from Saturday's game.
Yeah, so I'll wrap up. Yeah, Jim Knowles played Sonny Styles because it does a table for him, and we got what we got. So most definitely he's a winner in my book from week 1. My third winner is just a running back crew. We all talked about Chip. I think Chip played extremely well, especially after watching the rewatch. Is explosive, and I got to give him credit. I was like, he's probably running back 5 in the roster. We got 4 other running backs, but got his opportunity, took advantage of it. But running backs overall is my winner. I thought Mayan played extremely well. Didn't get a lot of carries, but 2 touchdowns, ran physical, things like that. I think the offensive line play will get better. And then Travion Henderson. I thought Travion Henderson ran the ball pretty well. A couple times he leaves some to be desired as far as breaking the tackle and things like that, but doesn't do it as well as Chip or Mayan. But I thought he set up his block extremely well, especially going into the game. The explosiveness was there. Would like to see him get the ball out of the backfield a little bit more. I don't know why they don't use Travion in the pass game. They need to use him a lot more than they do, and I would love to see him get in space. But I thought the running backs and shout out to Tony Alford were the winners of the weekend.
Yeah, sure. I'm glad that you mentioned Tony there because I think a lot of people criticize Tony for some of the misses that we've had in recruiting, but it's like, how do you argue? We still have one of the best running backs rooms in the country. Yeah, it's not littered with stars, but I mean, when Dallin Hayden's your RB4, I think you're doing quite fine.
Yeah, that's the caveat. You're not going to recruit. Just have the best room in the country. You'll be fine.
Exactly. I don't care about the stars. Recruit the players. So that brings us on to losers, and this is the same answer that I gave on Bleacher Report, and I stand by it, and I'm going to continue to hammer it home. College football fans were losers on Saturdays. This new clock is fucking awful, bro. Like, watching them just run down the clock in that Clemson Duke game, like knowing that, like, oh, they're not going to snap the ball between 5 seconds. So now we've incentivized shitty teams to stand around and not snap the fucking ball and play football. And then we took away more football that's actually getting played because the clock's just running and running and running and running. Who wins? Yeah. Like, no college football fan was sitting around this offseason and was like, you know what I want? Less football, more commercials. I've heard people who've been at games talk about how it's incessant the amount of times the guy with the red hat is out there. Not me, the media guy. So there's the guy that tells you when the media timeout ends during a live game. Like they said, he's the star of the show now of college football. I hate it. I hope, yeah, our guy Goj says it robs us of at least 10 plays a game. I know we'll get into it in the tweets later, but I know Bobby Carpenter mentioned to all the people that had criticisms about the defensive rotations that there was only 58 plays from Jesus Christ, dude, we play.
Indiana.
From Indiana. He said that, you know what I mean, that's overall low count, so it's hard to get rotations in there, and you're not going to see a lot of people when the play snaps or the play count is that low. So overall, I think that college football fans are losers, and this absolutely needs to be reevaluated at the end of the season to see, is this something that's really making the game better?
Yeah, that's a great one. I seen that in there earlier, and most definitely that game went by extremely, extremely fast, man. It was like, because I honestly shouldn't have had as much time to watch it as I did, and I'm getting through this game. I was out here, so yeah, it went by extremely fast. I want more college football because it's the man, and we got to the point where it's
Quit capping. You don't even watch college football.
Yeah, I don't watch it at all. I just talk about it. I'm waiting for y'all to catch me on these bad takes I have.
It's actually Q who they shorten the games for, because he's just so busy in these streets that they have to speed up the games for him because he doesn't have time to watch.
I'm trying to have a drink, man. Get this game over with, man. So I can have a good time.
Have a drink during the game. Come on.
I didn't have time to finish it. Game was over. Oh man. But yeah, definitely loser as far as less college football. We waited so long. It's the season now. I want as much as you can possibly get. It's like you're at the junkie point. And I hit the point where like I'm just looking for content. I want more games. I want more people talking about it. I just want more college football. So on my losers list, I'm actually going to switch up my order. My first loser is Ryan Day. I think I should start with him. Ryan Day at the time where, and we'll get to that chat in a second. Ryan Day at the time where he needed to come out, and he really showed us a lot in that Georgia game, even though it was a loss, he was aggressive. The team followed in his footsteps and just played like they had a chip on their shoulder. We got none of that Saturday, and I understand. It's 12 o'clock. It's Indiana. You have no idea what to expect from this team. The crowd's always half in until they start getting blown out. Like, it's very hard to perk up energy, but you just didn't feel that presence from Ohio State. Just that presence of confidence. People wanted to be there. People ready to go. People chomping at the bit. I think Jay Book said it years ago. Alabama always comes out with their hair on fire, and that's how they play. No matter if it's 12 o'clock against McNeese State or 7 p.m. against Texas, like they come out the same. They come out ready to go. They're more talented and they just play ball. And I don't think we got much of any of that from Ryan Day, let alone the offense and how all over the place that was.
Do you think the uncertainty at quarterback and the, I guess, uncertainty as far as a leadership role from the quarterback position could play a role in the overall demeanor of the team at this point?
I think so, because the defense played well, and you saw the energy for some of those guys in the game. That's what I kind of complained about before, walking into the game. I was like, bro, I'm very worried this team not knowing who their leader are and not taking an identity is not going to go. It's just not going to do well. And of course, walk in, quarterback doesn't play well. Cam said it. He's like, you look on the sideline, Marvin looks uninterested. A lot of guys on offense look like, what are we doing? Confused and all that. And you just saw it. So Ryan Day, get it together. Definitely loser from the first weekend, but you won. So, got a chance to fix it next week.
So I am going to double up on my two losers. So my next two are quarterbacks and wide receivers because they go together. I think the quarterbacks are losers for different reasons. Devin, for his circumstance coming into the game, thinking that he's actually going to play, but then just running QB power or the Wildcat, whatever you want to call it, and then playing mop-up duty. So I think Devin is an absolute loser of his circumstance. I think Kyle is on the loser list just for the lack of touchdown passes. I felt jealous, just like it I had PTSD. You know what I mean? I grew up watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. All we did was run the ball. Run the ball. We had no passing touchdowns yesterday. We have the most dynamic wide receiving core in the country, and we're not passing the ball. Like, we're not getting passing touchdowns. I saw so many passing touchdowns thrown while watching other college football games, and I'm like, man, remember when Ohio State used to do that? Like, cool, we got the win. We won by 20 points on the road, Big Ten Conference game. Shout out to everyone that got that job done. I want to see touchdown passes. And that makes the wide receivers losers too. We have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka. I mean, we were talking about Emeka Egbuka. Oh, he's going to have so many yards because Marv's going to be blanketed and he's just going to have so many catches. 16 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr., best wide receiver in the country, possibly best player in all of college football. 18 yards. Overall, that's just completely unacceptable. I know everyone had much higher expectations for both of them, realistic or not. I know that they were absolutely higher than 18 and 16 yards per carry, or yards total receiving in the game. So overall, I think the quarterbacks and wide receivers as a combination are losers together yesterday for various reasons.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and I felt like guys that got open in times and they were missed go across. We was able to see that in the rewatch. We're like, well, he's there. You got to put it on him. They're definitely losers. Quarterback Common Core didn't play terrible, didn't play well, and didn't play up to standard. So he's got time to hopefully get it together. And Devin Brown's gonna get his chance. So I like the pairing of those two. Most definitely, they're both losers from Saturday. For me, I will go offensive line is a loser, but it's a project. So I'm not gonna go hard on offensive line. They were confused. They were all over the place. We couldn't run up the middle. It didn't look good. I would say they're a slight loser. Obviously, 3 new starters. Got to get it together. Got to get the ball rolling. Trust Fry. I think the offensive line will be fine. But Saturday did not perform well, and I feel like the running backs were playing well, but the running backs were also creating their own, opportunities. Chip ran up to the line and was like, "Nah, I don't like what I see. I'm bouncing it." Seen Trey bounce a couple times, and then Mike bounced as well. So when it got to the edge, I thought they did well. When they ran up the middle, I thought it was not going. So definitely, offensive line has some time to improve and get it together, but I felt like they were a loser on Saturday. And then Ron did his 3. So my third, man, I cannot go past linebacker. And Cam was talking about Jim Knowles a loser. Just doesn't know how to get CJ Hicks on the field. I agree with you 100%. The Beavs played well, so I gave him a winner. But this linebacker core has to get it together, whether it's Steel Chambers stepping in. Like, I thought.
Wait a second. Wait.
Hold
No. We gotta stop. We have to stop. Time out.
Never let
Flag
me
on
finish.
the play. How the fuck is Jim Knowles in your winner, and then you have to criticize him to explain why your linebackers are losers, bro? CJ Hicks didn't bench himself. Who is the reason those linebackers were on the field, and who coaches them?
Jim Knowles does coach the linebackers. I wonder now if he's given up. He probably has not, but I wonder now if he's given up linebacker rotation. But the defense did look good. So I have to call him a winner because we were on his head for the last 4 months. And the defense came out and looked really well against a pedestrian team. So that's why I gave him a winner. But yes, linebackers are a loser. Steel Chambers and Tommy, I was like, I think they're okay. Watch him. Wait, do we have that play? The situation where they both get okay. There's a play where it's on the timeline. They both get blocked by one guy, and the guy is blocking Tommy, and still runs over, and he's just like, I got this free left hand, and just pushes him out the club, and he falls over, and I'm like, this is the least physical linebacker I think I've ever seen, based off just this play. He's not good with his hands. It was just bad, and I'm like, and we will talk about it a little later, but I'm like, what do guys have to do to get on this field? Like CJ Hicks, we've heard all this hype about all this stuff. He's got to play. He ain't playing. And I'm like, bro, we'll get into it later, but definitely a loser on Saturday. So we'll jump into it after this, but definitely linebackers are losers.
So for our last segment, if anyone has been on the timeline, any of you Twitter users, X users, whatever you want to call it. I think if you call someone an X user, they might think that you're doing drugs or something. But all of you guys on that Bird app, you have seen the Buckeye Civil War playing out on the timeline over the last week, and there have just been so many interesting comments on the app. So I thought it would be a good segment to highlight some of the best, well, I wouldn't even say the best tweets, some of the most intriguing tweets and conversation sparking tweets this weekend. So I want to talk about Maurice Clarett. Jay Book had a lot of things to say this weekend. I know Our guy Schlegel had some things to chime in on. Our guy Drew had a little back and forth with him. So yeah, we're gonna just jump into some of these tweets and just share our thoughts because there was a lot of conversation going on the timeline this past week. So tweet number 1, Q. Let's get this branding out of here. And if you see it now, smash that like button before we get started here in this next segment. I will get that removed out of here. So Maurice Claret had to say, you need attitude, excitement, aggressive play, shit talking, a dash of disrespect. You'll need all of that package on the field. Just your thoughts, because I feel like this is something that we talk about regularly about the give a shitter on this team, the lack of energy, the fact that we don't see those dogs on the timeline those dogs on the sideline screaming at people and getting the team hyped. So I just want to know your thoughts. Are we missing something as far as a level of attitude on this team?
Yeah, I think we've all said it. I said it famously and got criticized after the show because of the way I worded how I like my guys to be. But yeah, 200%. Like Marie said, man, no attitude. You gotta feel that disrespect. You gotta come out and prove it. And like I said, teams come out and play with their hair on fire every week. Ohio State, in certain games they do. A lot of games they don't.
Again, he emphasizes, I don't see any aggression or physical play. I'm not solely referring to the play calling. It just doesn't look like anyone's excited out there. No one looks physical. It just doesn't look like we have any arrogance or confidence out there. So I brought it up earlier in the show. Do you think the lack of confidence has something to do with the QB battle?
In the team, I would think so, man. It's very hard to direct when you don't know. Like, yeah, we're about to go cook Notre Dame, and I don't know who's about to throw me the ball, but we're confident we'll beat them. Like, it's just a little pause there of like, that's your rock, your rely. Quarterbacks win games. It's college football. Quarterbacks win games. You have a good quarterback, it just go off. It doesn't matter how bad your defense is. CJ played with a bad defense, and Justin did too, and they got us to a championship. So, yeah. It's solely relied on that. I believe the team takes their attitude, and we saw the attitude of how Kyle McCord played was the attitude of the team Saturday. It was very, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
It's very uninspired. Is the word that I would describe it. So he also went on to say, when you're Ohio State and have won this much, you have options. Coaches, players, everyone can be replaced. I know we have someone on offense who can light a fire under someone. So again, that's him alluding to this has something to do with the quarterback, the leadership, or does it go all the way to the top to the person calling plays? Either way, I feel like became evident to former players yesterday on the timeline that there's a level of juice missing from this program. And it's something that we talk about. I mean, we don't recruit guys that have that edge anymore. We recruit pure scholars and pillars in the community. And I love that for the university. I think we have great young men on this team. When you listen to them talk in their interviews, every single one of them sounds like they could run for office. Like an excellent collection of young men. But I think, do we have one more? So he had one last tweet that we didn't have here where he talks about you need a couple guys with some screws loose on the team. And we talked about that on the rewatch the other day about special teams. Like Cam was saying, like at any level of football that he ever played, every person on special teams were the guys that you looked at on the team a little side eye. Like there's a little something off with them. Like they're a little bit a different level of crazy to run down the field like a bullet, you know what I mean? Yeah. And to put your body on the line like that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not alone clearly from the tweets on the timeline, but it seems like we're missing a level of give a shitter. Our guy Rick here said, you need an Aaron Hernandez or two on the team. I don't know. I mean, you get two Aaron Hernandezes on the team, you're up to like 4 bodies. So I don't know if we need murderers in the program, but we definitely need a level of edge. And like someone said, so we need criminals. I don't think we need criminals, but you need someone with there's a level of toughness that it feels like. And it's not like Like, it's not like I don't think there are tough guys on the team. I think Cade Stover's a tough guy. I think Still Chambers, tough guy. Tommy Eichenberg, tough guy. But I don't feel like they're the tough guys that are going to verbalize it. We don't have. Well, I was going to say I don't want to I don't want to murder, and I was like, I don't think we have a Ray Lewis on the team. Kind of contradicted myself there. I got a little ahead of my skis. But I don't know, man. I think there is a slight edge that we're missing.
Yeah, I agree there. And that Aaron Hernandez chat is so just much more funnier because of that video you sent me. That's all I can think about from Barstool. So that just made me laugh. But I agree, man. I've said it for a long time. The team, I don't want to say what I said before, but it's just that low attitude. We've all grown up playing football, and just those dudes. You had those dudes on your team. You're like, look, they're cool. I just don't want to be on their bad side. And I think that's the best way I can put it. And how many people on this team you don't want to be on their bad side? Like, there's probably few and far between that you're like, I really don't want to piss him off today.
I'm going to give an example of what I'm talking about. So when I played in high school, there was this one guy on my team who would go down the entire line of the whole team and headbutt everyone before the game, like G. Scott level headbutt. And I'm like, bro, I don't need my head ringing before we even kick the ball off. Like, I would dap him up, like, don't even fucking headbutt me. And I'm like, bro, I know how hard your helmet hits mine because you've done it to me before. You just did that 45 times before the game started. Your brain is literally rattled before kickoff. Like, those are the type of screws loose that I'm talking about. Like, just the slight miscalculation and consequences. Like, let me get my brain a little rattled before we get out there to warm up. Like, that level of energy, that level of, chaos before the game, you need that. Like, I need that out there. And someone just said Dion in the chat. I want to ask you guys let me know in the chat. Q, you let me know. Did anyone see Dion's pregame speech? I don't know about you guys. I've heard Ryan Day talk. I've never heard Ryan Day give a pregame speech where I'm like, you know what? I want to run through a wall. Like, I hear Ryan Day talk and it's like, I want to organize a cleanup day in the community. Like, excellent leader of men, but I not the real guy to get me fired up. I rarely see Ryan Day and I'm like, let's go. It's more like, let's help the community.
I would give Ryan Day credit. I'm not in the locker room to hear his pregame speeches. What we've heard what we heard in the little cut-ups isn't exactly great. What we're wanting to hear, and I didn't see Dion's pregame speech, so I will look it up after this, but Dion's whole attitude on the sideline just sets the presence. And you want to hear something before you go into the game. Zach had actually put out a video when he was coaching here at Ohio State Receivers, and it's a little highlight video you probably find on this timeline somewhere, but it's a cut up of one of his pregame speeches, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it, and it was like, holy fuck, like I'm ready to go. It's just Kirby does it all the time. Just the cussing, just the attitude that you're gonna walk in, and it's like they can't fuck with us, like they can't play with us. I need y'all to go out there and prove that what we already know. And it's just a different level of vibe, and it's a speech thing. Speeches is very much one of those things where like you have it or you don't. And Ryan Day may not just be able to bring that edge out in the speech like he does, but he's a great coach. I'm sure guys play hard for him, but it's one of those where it's like he doesn't have to be. There's 10 coaches on this staff. Somebody, James Laurinaitis, somebody get in there, say something, just bring an edge out of this team. And I don't think this team plays with an edge. You don't need criminals. You don't need Aaron Hernandez, but you need a guy who might smack the shit out of you if you fuck up in the game. And you're like, I don't want to do that because I know after the game I got to deal with our linebacker. I got to deal with our safety. So that's just the best way I can put it. Like, as I played with guys who went down a completely different path than I did, but we didn't lose. I'll tell you that. We won a lot of games.
So our next one, I think I got a little ahead of ourselves there. So our guy Chimity, I know the game just started, but I can't help but really want to see Devin Brown can do out there. I feel like that's a sentiment of a lot of people in the fan base when Ryan Day comes out and tells us that Devin Brown is going to play significant minutes in meaningful snaps and then doesn't play. and then he eventually gets in the game. We all know that it was very short-lived. The Devin Brown era begins, not so fast. So just your thoughts on wanting to see more Devin Brown and the fact that this, according to Ryan Day's press conference, is going to continue to play out as a battle, allegedly.
I'm with Jimmy. I think everybody wants to see Devin Brown play and see, especially after just the hype in camp. I'm not going to say the era begins. Colin McCord can certainly turn it around next week or have his opportunities. The battle's not done. But, yeah, we all want to see Devin Brown Saturday. Just a kid get his shot and get his chance. And I liked how it played out on Saturday. You gave Kyle the reins, let him make a mistake or two and play the entire game. If he does it with Devin this week, I'm completely cool with it because Kyle just didn't take the job. So I'm with Jimmy. I'm hoping.
Absolutely. If I'm Coach Day, I still want to see what I have in Devin Brown next game and give him a chance to win the job. I think we all agree with that. Let me know in the chat if there's anyone who thinks that we don't need to see Devin Brown and Kyle's the guy. Let me know with a Kyle's the guy and why. So, I've seen some debate out there like anytime you post about Devin Brown, it's Kyle's a starter. He was named the starter for the reason. But then Ryan Day comes out and tells us that no, he wanted to play Devin Brown more. That wasn't his intention for the rotation to be like that. So we'll see what happens here going forward.
It's just an odd thing for him to say I wanted to play Devin Brown more in the way the game went. And I don't have a problem with how he did it, but it just wonders with me his trust level of Devin Brown, where it's a close game. Your offense is not doing anything, but you won't flip the quarterbacks and try to give us some juice. So that's one thing I'm going to watch in week 2, just his level of trust with Devin Brown, because that shows me he may be a little antsy if he really trusts him, and he has to for him to play this season.
Agreed. So our next one's from our guy Jay Book. I think the biggest thing that frustrated me the most about Ohio State game Saturday was Ryan Day admitting to being conservative. What the hell are you doing? There are zero positives that come out of being conservative play caller. His teams 100% respond better when he's aggressive. What happened to him saying, I learned from the Georgia game to be aggressive, pick an identity, and stick with it? I think Ryan Day has proven the identity that he has. I think the Georgia game is the exception, not the rule. We just had a 5-minute conversation about his lack of aggression. I just think that's who Ryan Day is. And if this culture of, low energy and like professionalism and this NFL approach to a team, are we watching an experiment play out? Like a lot of people say that Urban Meyer didn't work out in the NFL because he brought a college mentality to the NFL. Are we watching an NFL mentality play out in college? Like, is there some of that, like, at the end of the day, like the power broker, overarching leader like Urban Meyer, where he's screaming in your face, threatening everybody's job every other day, the constant competition, the fear of being cut? I don't know if I feel like Urban Meyer might have taken it to the next level, but I also feel like there's a middle ground between where Ryan Day is with his NFL approach and the culture that Urban Meyer had.
Yeah, I 10% agree with you and 10% agree with Jay Book. 100%. He said it all. It's not I can add to that.
So our next one. This is a big topic of conversation as well. Who's RB1 on this team? If you run the ball, you know these are RB1 reps. You can build around this. The eye in the sky don't lie. Our guy, Mr. Ohio, said RB1 is Chip Trainum. Maurice Claret chimed in, and I know I don't have the clip here, but I know Beanie Wells also chimed in and said he believed the same thing. Do we have a battle? Do we have 2 battles in the backfield? Like, are we playing the right quarterback? Are we playing the right running back? Should Chip Trainum be getting more carries, Q?
I think it's at the point where those are your top 3. Ride the hot hand. I don't necessarily would think it's a battle. It doesn't have to be a battle. All guys are bringing something to the game. They all did something really well on Saturday. Chip was the best on Saturday. Don't think it needs to be a battle. Just keep it rolling and keep shooting the carries. If the carry, it doesn't matter who starts really. The carries determine who who really started and who they trusted. So I go with the way they had it. I have no problems with it.
Before we get out of here, well, no, we're not getting out of here. Before we get on to the next one, make sure you smash that like button. We appreciate all you in here. We see 70 plus people. So it really helps us if you hit that like button. And yeah, drop some questions in the chat. I completely agree with what you said, Q, because I think you said it 1,000 times better than I had it lined up in my head. Because the way you said, ride the hot hand, and like I was gonna say, you know what I mean? Play chip and let everything else, let the chips, no pun intended, fall where they may. Like exactly. So I mean, yeah, ride the hot hand. Does one of them have to be the starter? No, you have more than 3 capable backs on the team. Play the hot hand, and I'm completely okay with that. If it's a week-to-week thing, if it's a drive-to-drive thing, if some guy's out there running good, let him get that, momentum and ride the hot hand. So I completely agree there. And then Jay Book chimed in on this. I thought it was fascinating that Burns said today during the Indiana game, Chip was losing his mind coming to the sidelines, screaming nonstop, "They better stop fucking with me." Not sure if he's referring to Indiana or the coaches. Either way, I need that type of vibe and energy on the field. We got to have them dudes with an edge ready for an alley fight. And I mean, Jay Book just touched on something that we've already, been hammering home. Like there's clearly some sort of edge missing. And again, I agree with Jay Book 1,000%. Whether he's screaming at the other team or the coach's staff, stop fucking with him.
Yeah, I mean, you should be a captain with the attitude, or at least something people follow. So, I mean, if he's bringing energy like that, team follow him. I mean, from 330, shout out to guy Chris Drew over there. So, most definitely.
You mentioned 330. We're almost at 30 likes, so go ahead and smash that like button. 330. Yeah, we're almost at 30, and then let's get it up to 33. So just keep running those likes. Maurice Claret again. Football isn't fair. Some people will work their ass off all off season, not getting playing time. That's rough, but that's what it is. Above all, you have to put the best players in the game who will help you win. The game is a business at the college/pro level, and I think that's a big disconnect between two segments of the fan base, and we're going to get to that here at the end. Yeah. Like a lot of people, again, Ryan Day uses this word that infuriates the fuck out of me, deserving. I need to know, does the word deserving mean the same thing as gives us the best chance to win? Because quite honestly, I don't give a fuck who deserves to play, bro. If you deserve to play, go play at Akron then. Like, I'm dead ass. I am fucking dead ass. If you don't give us the best chance to play and you deserve to play, go deserve to play somewhere else. Like, this can't be some kindergarten pity pat program where, you know what I mean, we're handing out participation silver bullets of the fucking day. Like, we give too many rewards out. We fucking congratulate people too much. We ain't won a championship in 10 fucking years, and all we do is give out participation trophies, talk about no one deserves anything until we start winning national championships. Like, I'm sick of hearing that word deserve. We don't deserve shit. We deserve a national championship. And until we have that, like, I don't care whose feelings get hurt. Like, the only people's feelings get hurt are the fucking fans right now. You know what I mean? Everybody, and that's the other thing. There's a big divide in this fan base about the way the team is criticized. But we all want the same thing. People have these asinine theories that there are fans out there rooting against certain players because they want to be right. I promise you, if Steel Chambers went out there and looked like the greatest linebacker to ever touch the fucking field, I'd be on here singing his praises, lying about him like I did with Tommy Eichenberg running a fucking offseason Heisman campaign for him. I would lie and tell you that Devin Brown is the best quarterback since Dan Marino if he fucking looked like it. I don't know why people think that, like, there's fans with this agenda that they want to see the Buckeyes lose. I'm here to tell you, me personally, and I would go with the majority of fans that get yelled at for being too critical, want whoever's out there to be the best. And if there's someone behind them, we need to see them. But if the person out there, I don't care if their name is Steel Chambers, CJ Hicks, or fucking George Bush. I don't care what their name is. If they're out there performing, play them. Like, that's my only thing. And I think that, like, everybody gets frustrated and they see fans being critical of the team. I don't think there are people in the fan base rooting against particular players to push an agenda, because at the end of the day, if whoever they're talking negatively about was playing great, they would be singing their praises as if there is a hero too. I think there's a commonality as far as what everybody wants in this fan base, and that's to see the Buckeyes win. And everybody's response to the play may be different, but I think at the end of the day, everybody's on the same team as far as the outcome that they're looking for from the Buckeyes.
Yeah, 200% what you said. I don't care who plays, to be honest. I just want to win the games. And another word I would like to retire, even though it shouldn't be a word I have to retire, is consistent. Because a lot of times, consistent in this program has meant consistently mediocre. And this guy makes plays, but he's
I
not
wouldn't even
consistent.
say mediocre, average. But like everybody's so good with serviceable and not let's take it to the next level. Where is elite? Everybody's like, well, it's good enough. I'm like, are we sure that there's not another level that we could take it to?
Yeah, or this guy is consistent, but this other guy makes plays and has 2 or 3 plays of practice that can change a game, and we need to win. So, like, put him in, and we'll figure out the rest because he's just on a different speed. So that's another word I would love to retire is consistent because at this point it just means tough Borland 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. You're on mute, Ron.
Sorry, I had a little hiccup there. My mic got disconnected. Are we good here? Are we back on the Yeti?
Yeah, yeah, you're good.
All righty. Our next one. This not being a I will just let you handle that. I mean, you know what I mean? I never had my hand in the dirt according to some of the people in the chat, but I don't know. Looks like I'm no Maurice Claret, but
Um,
if I'm looking at this play, I would assume the person with the ball is going to go run straight through that hole right to the ref and hand him the ball for the touchdown. Q, what happened on this play?
Yeah, I don't know how he found the only man that can tackle him. And I've never played quarterback. I have played running back and wide receiver at later levels, but I could read a block. It's not, you just process it too slow and chip set the side. Always got to do. But I guess it happens. I mean, I've seen J.K. Dobbins do it once where he could run off the tail, but this one is pretty worse than that. It's pretty egregious. So it does happen. It's unfortunate for Kyle, but he did find the only guy that he could tackle him, and you have to score that with everything that's going on in that game. So learn from that. What do you want me to say? He ran right into the guy. I don't know what he saw, man. None of us do. So Kyle, prayers to you, man. He'll watch film. He'll get better.
I guess, bro. They need to get him on the ladders or something, bro, because to change direction, Ronnie 2K called me and said he's putting it on 10.
Oh, man.
Okay, we're going to come back to that one because I think that was in response to this conversation. And this is the last one that we're going to look at before we get out of here. Our guy, Drew. What would be your grade for linebacker play? And is there a reason why CJ Hicks didn't get in the rotation? Anthony Schlegel, former Buckeye. Really good. He isn't better than Steele at this moment, and he is a sophomore. James is the coach, and he knows he communicates well with these dudes. They just have 2 veteran studs that start. He goes on to say, not better to even whiff the field. Our guy Drew asked, not better to even whiff the field when you know IU isn't going to win? Come on, Schlegs. Schlegs responds, you come on. I just trust James to make the decision. Just because he's a good player doesn't mean he needs to take reps away from other guys. This isn't a charity where we pass out reps. It's football. He will get more chances against Youngstown and Western Kentucky. If he doesn't like it, transfer. Interesting. So it's James' decision he's to not play Hicks for 4 quarters, and Bobby Carpenter weighed in. I'm guessing he factors into it, and the defense only plays 57 plays, which isn't many at all. So I want to go back to this one. Number one, I'm here to tell you, I don't give a fuck if you played for this team. I don't care if you have a national championship ring. I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up when we're talking about telling 5 stars to transfer. What? Like, I just because he's a good player doesn't mean he needs to take reps away from other guys. This isn't charity where we pass out reps. It sounds like a charity where we pass out reps because you're not allowed to fucking play unless you're a stud. And like, it's crazy that fucking Steel Chambers was able to get on the field as a sophomore as a fucking converted running back, but CJ Hicks, a 5-star that is asking to play more than 1 defensive snap in his fucking career, 14 games in, should transfer? What are we fucking doing?
I mean, this is a charity as far as reps go because I've seen a lot of guys touch the Ohio State field that were not up to standard or not even close. I don't know what he's talking about. It's not that hard to rotate guys, especially in a game that's was never in doubt. I don't care what the score was. No one ever believed Indiana was winning, especially past the first quarter. So you gotta play these guys if you want to get the big time players in.
Sorry, I loaded that and it
let
just
Chris Drew tell it. He'll say,
well, yeah. I mean, I was trying to load the video and it just jumped in and cut Q off. But Q, go ahead and finish your point because I know Chris Drew really hammered home this CJ Hicks point, and I want to play this video because it begs to ask some questions with what was said there. So go ahead, Q. My bad.
No, let Chris Drew say it better than I have. Let it roll.
So yeah, the fan base has a lot of things to say about who should be playing and who should not. So I want to get our guy Chris Drew, Menace to Sports, his thoughts on CJ Hicks playing, and I want you guys in the chat to let me know because Chris Drew provides 3 options for what the reason CJ Hicks is not playing for. So everybody in the chat, I'd like you guys who think that Steel Chambers should be playing more than CJ Hicks, or not even that. I don't. Whatever. It's cool. Start Steel Chambers. You can't tell me 14 games into his career, the number 1 linebacker in the country should have 1 defensive snap. So our guy Chris Drew has some questions here, and we're gonna play the video.
What up, Chris Drew?
Bro, just rotate him like Georgia did 2 years ago.
No, nigga, don't rotate him. Start that nigga and don't look.
That's how I feel, Chris. That's how I feel.
Hey, swear to God, bro.
You know it ain't gonna happen,
Hey, I think you do it the old school. You put that nigga out there.
No, do not rotate. And here's why. Here's why. Everybody in the Ohio State side, like all the fans, like the pump sunshine. Here we go. They swear that Ohio State has the best evaluation. They swear that Ohio State develops the highest clip, and they swear the coaches know the most. All 3 cannot be true. If you trust the developmental side of it, then that would suggest that nigga CJ's better than Harold Perkins. You trust the development side of it, that would suggest that they develop better than LSU at that position. So if those 2 things are
Abdul
true,
Carter as well.
Everybody else in that roster and start that nigga. I don't care. Tell niggas to go to Ball State. Tell niggas to go to Marshall. Tell niggas to go to Illinois. It does not matter. Start that nigga and never look back. That nigga's gonna have a situation with a linebacker getting.
Yeah.
So I asked the chat, was it a miss on evaluation? Are they not developing them? Or do the coaches not know something? Because again, like our guy Chris Drew said, all 3 cannot be true when you have the alleged number 1 linebacker in the country not playing 14 games into his career. So if we have the best development, if we have the best evaluation, and if our coaches know the fucking most, where did they go wrong then? Because there's no way that you could tell me that all 3 of those things are true, and CJ Hicks has 1 defensive snap as the best linebacker in the country. So was the evaluation wrong? Was he not the best linebacker in the country? What is happening here? Because I seen someone in the chat say it's between his head. Jim Knowles told us if a guy's not understanding something or grasping the concept, that's on him because he's not teaching it right. So why does the accountability always shift when it comes to this guy CJ Hicks? They're telling us one thing that, if these guys aren't picking it up, I'm not teaching it right. Tommy Eichenberg was able to learn the whole fucking defense in a week if you let them tell it. So you're telling me in 2 years with James Laurinaitis on the staff, Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator as a linebackers coach, a 5-star, isn't talented enough or prepared enough between the ears to get on the field for more than 1 defensive snap is absolutely a failure on the coaching staff in some way, shape, or form. And if it falls on the kid, that's the failure of our program that we allowed a 5-star number 1 overall player at their position come into our program and fail. What is the structure going around on our program that we let someone slip through the cracks like that? There is a lie going on about what this program is, the standard, and our ability to deliver and recruit and develop these kids if this kid is not playing. And be honest with us about it. What is it then? What is happening? Why is there no accountability on the coaching staff for why this kid's not playing? It's all on the kid, but then when you talk to them, if the kid's not getting it, it's their responsibility. I'm getting conflicting reports on how I should feel about this, and then we're getting chastised on the timeline for saying the 5-star number 1 overall linebacker in this class should play more than one defensive staff, as if that's some fucking absurd take.
Yeah, I mean, I said it a while ago. These coaches, after the personnel choices we made over the last few years, you got to start proving to me guys can't play, because having them ride on the pine does not tell me anything. You got to put him in the game. Let me see he can't play if he truly can't. I've said that for a while. We have Reed Carrico, who was a top 50 player, CJ Hicks, and Gabe Powers. Haven't seen a lick of any of them, and the linebacker play has been mediocre at best, and it's not even a hard defense. You're telling me Malik Harford can come in at free safety, the last line of defense, understand the defense well enough to play, but CJ Hicks at linebacker, which Tommy doesn't even have to worry about the pass game 99% of the time. It's basically just read and react and attack the ball. So it's impossible for me to believe he can't do it. And also, too, if you would look at it objectively, if Tommy is still where at LSU, would they be starting? If Tommy is still where at Penn State with Abdul Carter, would they be starting? Like, probably not. They play a talented guy and they roll with it because the payoff is so much better at the end of the season. And not saying CJ Hicks should just come in and take all their reps, but you can at least rotate and play guys and let us at least find out. So I don't understand what Slags is talking about. I don't understand what Bobby Carpenter is talking about. You, by the second series, you can throw the guy in for a play. Have him go in through a blitz, something. Just get out there and do something. So they've lost me with that, and you cannot tell me that CJ Hicks cannot understand the defense well enough to play mop-up duty at Ohio State. At least mop-up duty. You can't tell me that. I it's a lie. The dude's passing in school. He hasn't flunked out of school yet, that he can understand the defense enough to get through a few plays.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Our guy, Goj, says that he has a Subway down in Virginia. Q, I know your days are numbered in Virginia. You might have to tap in and grab you a $5 foot long before you get out of here.
Go stuff. I appreciate it, man. I got till Friday.
But no, big shout out to all the people with those tweets. I know we've been going to war on the. Oh, I missed the last tweet. There's one more that we got to get to before we get out of here.
Yeah. Big screens.
That's not the one. Yeah.
What
are we doing here?
I like that. More of that.
Our last one from Jay Book. Here's where we are on this app with Ohio State fans. If anyone says something positive about anything, oh my God, you're a sunshine pumper, kissing the coach's ass, homer, blah, blah, blah. You try to have conversations on here about deficiencies and recognizable flaws, or just talk ball in general. Oh my God, you're so negative. Calm down. Blah, blah, blah. And I think this goes back to what I said earlier. It's frustrating seeing this divide within the fan base, because at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. Everyone's pointing at each other saying that you're loyal to one thing or another, whether it be a young player, the coaching staff, the media, whatever it is. And we all pick our sides, dig our feet in the sand, and then scream at each other all season as if we're not rooting for the same thing. I said it reminds me of when Pitt and Penn State play each other and they're fighting each other in the parking lot, and then the next day on Sunday they're all Steelers together. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, fight each other on the timeline and then everybody's hugging in front of the shoe on Saturday. Like, I get it. Everyone has their opinions, and you know what I mean, they're passionate about them, but at the end of the day, we all want to see a Buckeye championship, and people may have difference in opinions on how that should look. But at the end of the day, the goal is the goal. And the only people you should be frustrated at are people that don't want that goal. So if there's people out there that don't think the standard is winning national championships, I would say they're not real Buckeye fans or don't truly understand what this program is about. And everybody else there in the middle arguing from different sides about how to go about doing that, just keep in mind no matter how frustrated you are with the other side, 9 times out of 10, they're all rooting for the same thing. So I hope that doesn't get lost this season. It's crazy. We're one game in to the season, and we're already dealing with a Buckeye Civil War. I think a lot of this falls on Ryan Day and his handling. I saw there was a good article out there about Ryan Day's deficiencies as far as ability to make decisions and getting caught up in his own head and anxiety around making big decisions for this team. So I suggest you guys go check that out. But yeah, man, I think this falls on Ryan Day, and I feel like a lot of the divide in the community is due to his lack of communication and his new nickname of Lion Day. It doesn't do the fan base, the media, anyone that has to talk about this team any favors when you're so inconsistent with your words and don't stick to them. They change every press conference. You've limited the amount of access that the beat has to practices, to media availabilities. I feel like the information that comes out of the Woody is so limited to this point and unreliable at this point. So when we do get access, you don't know what you can believe coming out of Ryan Day's mouth. And I think it leads to a lot of speculation, a lot of assumptions, a lot of gives people a lot of leeway to run with the words and spin them and go with them. And then when he lies and, is inconsistent in his press conferences, it creates doubt and gives people even more of a leeway to speculate and assume that he's, not being truthful because he's shown that he isn't all the time. So, I think these are things that Ryan Day as a head coach could avoid, but maybe Ryan Day doesn't give a fuck what people are saying on Twitter. I find that hard to believe. But, if he wants to continue to limit the media access and let everyone just run with narratives and, make up whatever they feel in the media because they don't tell us anything. And when they do, they blow smoke up our ass. Got to live with the consequences.
Yeah, you can't believe anything he says. It always goes like that. And like they're the ones who hype us up. They tell us guys can play, and then it's like Saturday. I don't see him. I don't know the depth chart until game day, like game time when they start playing, and I see who doesn't play. It's just such a limited information. Ryan Day doesn't give us anything, and it's just like, man, it does definitely have a divide. It's like, you told me CJ Hicks was a freak show. You told me he's out here making plays. Well, where is it? Like, I can't see none of it or multiple guys. So it does definitely have a divide. I would agree with Posh. Name call. I'm not trying to go crazy with anybody on the timeline. We get argumentative. It is what it is. It happens. But we all want the same thing. And I promise you, Ryan Day does the three things he's supposed to do this year. I don't care what he do next season. You won't hear no complaints from me. So just win, and everything will sort itself out.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't. It's week one. We don't want things to get ugly this early because
we'll be in the middle of it, like we always are.
Exactly, bro. And there will be absolutely no back down. So, take those shots with caution. I promise. If I can give any word of advice, I was
gonna say we went to toe to toe with college football Twitter right before the season. We ain't worried about arguing with a few Ohio State fans. It was Ohio State versus everybody in the space.
Exactly, bro. I said to Kim yesterday, things have been getting real spicy on the timeline and people have been talking real crazy. So I think people be getting way too comfortable with us not running the best damn space and Chrissy and Dog TV to fucking flame people on this app. So you will see a significant presence appear on Twitter because people must have forgot. So you will see the boys outside more frequently because I guess people forgot about Dre. So we are going to be on the timeline and keep an eye out for us. Q, we got to get out of here. It's been a long show. We started late. Let the people know where they could find you.
Yeah, we ran a little lower, so I appreciate y'all rocking with us. A lot of people in here. Definitely love it. Make sure you like that video. I'm C-Boy Quentin on Twitter. Please DM me, get at me. Let me know. You got anything you want to talk ball, hit me up. Flynet Johnson on Instagram. Talk movies, minor league films up here. Ron, let me know what to find you.
If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2_TEES. That's 2 T's. You can find me on Twitch at the same thing. You can find me on TikTok at 2Shiesty. Tomorrow I'll be live in the Bleacher Report app at 1 p.m. for our midweek thoughts and week one wrap up. And then Thursday we'll start previewing the new show or previewing the who do we play?
Next
Youngstown
game?
State. Yeah. I was like, the next game, the new show. I'm in a blender. I've been talking way too much lately. Tomorrow we have 3 shows going on. We have the Buckeye Roast at 8 a.m. We have the national show at 7:30 with our guys Mike and Cam, and then we also have the Bleacher Report live reaction at 1 p.m. Doing big things around here at Best Damn Media. Tons of content on here. Some big surprises for the college football pregame show on Saturday. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, have that notification bell. We are live every day giving you guys content in various places every day on this channel for sure, though. We appreciate you guys pulling up, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Go Bucks.
Wait.